All right, here we go. Get ready for this one. This one, you might not be able to follow it, but it's pretty simple. I mean, if you're all about making observations, it's pretty easy to figure out that men have an outie and women have an innie, right? And that men have the generative force and women receive the generative force. Just like the sun shines on the earth, the sun is powered by itself, the earth is powered by the sun. And the earth is what has the life on it. Yes, the earth has the life on it, but the sun, without the sun, the earth wouldn't exist, but the sun would still exist without the earth. These are just basic principles of actual physics that you can't deny. You can't pretend and hand wave and say, oh, well, I just don't buy that one. I just don't buy that one. No, that's not how it works. This is the actual basis of the entire universe itself, is the masculine and feminine principle, the negative and positive principle, and the neutral principle, right? So we can see here that the basic building block of all matter in the universe is an atom, and it's consisting of positively charged particles, negatively charged particles, and neutrally charged particles, right? So the nucleus of the atom consists of positive and neutral charged particles, and then the outside of it, the orbit of it, consists of negatively charged particles. And depending on how many of each depends on what element it is, and if it's either negatively, the entire atom is negatively charged, or positively charged, right? So it says here, the electrons of an atom are attracted to the protons. So the electrons are the negatively charged particles, right? Are attracted to the protons. So the protons are already together, right? And the protons have the power to attract the electrons, not the other way around, because that's how positive and negative works. Positive is the outie, negative is the innie. These are the basic structures of the universe. It's not in question. There's no questioning this. There's no, oh, I don't like how that sounds. No, this is the actual structure of the universe. So the protons and the neutrons in the nucleus are attracted to each other by nuclear force, right? This force is usually stronger than the electromagnetic force that repels the positive from the negative, right? So that it creates a balance where the magnetic force is pushing them away and the nuclear force is sucking them together, right? Or attracting them together, right? So then we can ask this basic question, right? Why doesn't dark fill a room, but light will, right? Darkness does not fill a light room because light travels in straight lines and can be absorbed. Light is absorbed, right? Again, we're going back to the negative and positive thing, where there's one thing that is emitting and another thing that is absorbing or reflecting. And it's just the nature of the universe itself that you exist in. Like, you can't even sit in your chair without these positive and negative and neutral charges that exist. They do exist. And it's the basis of the entire known universe, how it works. And we're just another step up in complexity from the base level of how the entire universe works. And it just works the same way all the way up. It just keeps going up in complexity, but it still has the base level that it's built on, which is this negative, positive, neutral position, where positive means that it's emitting and negative means that it's absorbing or reflecting, right? It's just basic logic, basic physics, basic reality, right? Darkness is simply the absence of light. In contrast, when a dark room is illuminated, the light can fill the space, making it appear bright and visible, right? So it's just a basic philosophical concept, right? That you can't open your pocket and fill a light room with darkness. but you can walk into a dark room and flick a lighter and light the entire room, right? So dark and light are not equal. Dark and light are not equal. Negative and positive are not equal. They both play a role, but one comes before the other in a chronological order of cause and effect. Now, you can say that the universe doesn't exist, but then you'd have to stop talking, because once you say the universe doesn't exist, then it's time to stop talking, right? So then we can come over to, this like E8 crystal theory, where it's basically saying that the universe is being projected from a higher level or a more complex level. And basically this universe is just like a shadow of that. Sabine Hassenfelder doesn't agree, but she's a top physicist, so, she might be right. But it's just a theory. It's just a theory that, that this geometric pattern here is just what's being reflected down into our universe, and that our universe is basically just a reflection of this geometric pattern or geometric patterns from a higher level, right? It's kind of Neoplatonist or Platonist how they depict it. Okay, so here's the last thing, right? I asked which contains more energy, an egg or sperm? And first they say an egg contains more energy than a sperm because it's filled with nutrients and the mitochondria, right? But the sperm stores the energy. It has the energy in it, and then it delivers it. See, if you go all the way down here, down to the bottom, then it says egg cell, rich in nutrients. Yeah, rich in nutrients. Nutrients are ready to be used by something else, but the nutrients itself don't do anything, right? Okay, yeah, supports embryo development. Okay. See, but here we go. Stores, receives, stores, receives. Even in this one, still, again, we can see that the egg receives and the sperm facilitates. The sperm moves first. It's the first mover in the chronological order of the universe. The positive attracts the negative. The light fills the dark. You can't pretend like this doesn't exist. And you can call it whatever you want: negative, positive, light, dark, masculine, feminine, because that's how it manifests in our reality. That the masculine facilitates and uses stored energy for movement, while the feminine is rich in nutrients, supports embryo development, and stores the energy that's received from the movement of the masculine, right? So this isn't just some made up thing. This isn't made up fantasy world stuff that you can just say, oh, I don't want to believe that there's a masculine and a feminine principle, but there is. And it exists at the most base level of existence, even the most base, the fundamental building blocks of matter. So the chair that you're sitting on is built off of the masculine and feminine principle, the negative and positive principle, the light and dark principle, the innie-outie principle. Someone's got an outie, someone's got an innie. Why do you think that is? It's just a reflection like this. It's just a reflection of the underlying physics of the entire universe. That's all it is, right? So we didn't choose to make it negative, positive, masculine, feminine, light, dark. That's just how it is. And you can't change how it is on the most base level of reality that we literally can't even see with our own eyes. So you can pretend like it doesn't exist, but then you have to pretend that the universe doesn't exist. And then once you say that the universe doesn't exist or time doesn't exist, then it's time to stop talking because you don't exist. So what are you talking about? So yeah, okay. That's that video. I'll be back later. Talk to you then, and peace.